Member for Stormont-Dundas-South, Glengarry.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I rise tonight to follow up on my questions regarding the extension of the tax deadline. Now, I realize the tax deadline has come and gone this year, but my frustration and the frustration of tax preparers and many Canadians in all parts of the country have not gone away. We're going to hear tonight in the response, like we have several times from the government, that we are here for Canadians every step of the way. Well, try asking somebody who's been trying to get a hold of CRA these days, and I certainly think that is not as applicable. I know that not only our side of the House, but members from every party in this House have been hearing the same thing. Our constituency office has been inundated with calls from CRA, going to CRA, can't get through, 3-4 hours, and they're getting hung up on. I want to give credit while I can, Madam Speaker, through you to my constituency staff of Nicole, Sue, Annette, and Adrian, and the volunteers in our income tax program for trying to work through the best of a bad situation here. We even ourselves cannot get the regular service through our problem resolution desk. There is chaos happening at CRA, Madam Speaker, and I believe that the fact we were not able and the government did not extend the tax deadline has actually made this situation worse. I was speaking with José Sauvé from Sauvé Tax Services in Cornwall. She alone, on top of all the challenges going on right now, is dealing with 50 cases of fraud of her clients alone. We're being told by Service Canada that amended T4Es are only being sent out to people on May 28. People are told to file their taxes. They're getting reassessments. There's confusion. There's more backlogs and delays that are happening from this. And Madam Speaker, I go back to my comments and my numerous questions. This could have a lot of this backlog, a lot of this stress that many Canadians were feeling could have been alleviated. The workers at CRA that are overwhelmed with call volume and cases, we could have decreased this with a simple extension of the tax deadline to June 30th. Madam Speaker, the government says, well, don't worry, there's interest and penalty relief available. And that speaks to the irony of what I've been trying to advocate for. What does that mean? More paperwork, more forms, more calls to CRA, and more backlog. I always say here in a nonpartisan way, I believe we all mean well in this House. But I believe the CRA minister and this government are actually making the situation worse by only adding to the backlog, adding to the paperwork, and the calls that people have to make and the forms they have to send in. I use a line in municipal politics, I'll say the same thing here in Ottawa. We need to work smarter, not harder. Last year, we had a pandemic. We were told to stay at home. And the government listened to suggestions. I remember standing in the House speaking to members of the government. It was the Deputy Prime Minister that answered my questions and said we need to extend the tax deadline. The government did that to September. They also extended the transition of benefits that would normally renew in July. They moved it to September. That made a bad situation bearable last year. But this year, think about it. We're in a pandemic. We're still being told to stay home in many parts of this country, and there was no extension of the tax deadline. So my question through you, Madam Speaker, to the government is, we want a detailed answer, not of all the extra paperwork, and listen to this, oh, there's an extra form, you could apply for relief, we can get this corrected. Why didn't the government just extend the tax deadline to June 30th to take the pressure valve off of filers and off of CRA workers? And why does it take 2 years for the government to do a budget, but we can't give Canadians an extra 2 months to get their taxes done? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of National Revenue.
Madame la Présidente, I want to take the time to thank my colleague for requesting further information about the CRA's decision to not extend the filing deadline for the 2021 tax year. Madame la Présidente, les temps sont difficiles pour...
Madam Speaker, times are tough for all Canadians and have been over the past year. The government has provided financial support to millions of Canadians, and I commend them for that, since the COVID-19 pandemic started. This has helped people keep food on their table and a roof over their head during this crisis. Furthermore, our government is very aware of the fact that Canadians are still suffering from the financial repercussions of this pandemic.
To point out, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, that our government has taken important steps to support Canadians during the 2020 tax filing period. In particular, we have strongly encouraged all Canadians to file their income tax return on time so that payments of the benefits and credits to which they were entitled are not delayed. I'm referring to the Canada Child Benefit, the GST-HST credit, and provincial territorial benefits and credits depending on where they live. Extending tax filing deadlines this year was not possible, as it would have disrupted these essential credit and benefit payments for millions of Canadians. Madam Speaker, to serve Canadians well this 2020 tax year, we should also mention that the agency increased the number of agents available in its call centers by extending its hours of operation. In addition, it enlisted the assistance of a third-party service providers to answer general questions about emergency benefits related to COVID-19, in addition to implementing a new automated callback service.
Ultimately, Madam Speaker, the government made a number of support measures and client services available to Canadians in order to help them file their income tax returns on time, as well as to ease any financial pressures they may be experiencing during this challenging time due to COVID-19.
Have been hard at work to help all Canadians. CRA has a dedicated and highly skilled workforce committed to serving Canadians according to its People First philosophy, which places the needs and expectations of Canadians at the center of everything it does. Lastly, Madame la Présidente, it should be noted that the statistics have been very positive for the 2021 filing year. Nearly as many Canadians filed on time this year as they did in 2019, our last normal tax filing year. So despite the assertions of my colleague across the way, Canadians proved that they were by and large able to work within the normal filing period. I invite my colleague opposite to join me in celebrating the CRA's hard work and the hard work accomplished by the millions of Canadians who filed on time during difficult circumstances. Thank you, Madame la Présidente.
The honourable member for Stormont-Dundas-South Glengarry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank my colleague for the answer there. In my 1 minute here, I will encourage him to come visit my constituency office and see the hundreds of appointments we had to cancel through our volunteer income tax program because people couldn't come. We were in a lockdown. We shut down our office, and rightfully so, as we were told to do. People don't have access to go out. They don't have internet or the ability to do the taxes themselves, and there are many Canadians. I see them in my riding. My staff have seen them that have had that challenge. I'll just address quickly the comment about benefit extension, saying, well, we couldn't extend the tax deadline because that would disrupt the July renewal. I go back to what happened last year. CRA and the government were able to extend the tax deadline, and they also moved the renewal benefit from July to September. That type of leadership is missing this year. It was the government's decision. If they could do it last year, they could have done it this year, and they chose not to do it. We are going to see a lot of frustration and chaos continue in the months. I applaud and I thank people who are working at CRA, but we need to do.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Madam Speaker, the Government of Canada has encouraged all Canadians to file their income tax returns on time, so the payment of benefits and credits to which they're entitled are not delayed. And the services offered to Canadians did not end there.
If a person is unable to fully pay an existing debt, there are payment options available to them. Secondly, if a person is unable to meet their tax obligations due to circumstances beyond their control, they can also request the cancellation of penalties and interest charged to their account. In addition, Madame la Présidente, the Government of Canada has introduced targeted relief measures for Canadians who have received financial assistance benefits related to COVID-19. Madame la Présidente, the Canadian government has continued to support Canadians by amending its payment expectations in order to give Canadians more time and latitude to pay their tax debt in accordance with their ability to pay. Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.